Hi, I'm Lindsey Mazza. Welcome to Hiding in Plain Sight, the segment where we dive deep into the inspiring stories of individuals who found their true purpose and stepped into their power by shedding the shame that held them back. My guest today is a professor of sociology and equity studies at Niagara College. Her work has taken her abroad, and she has lived and taught across 4 continents in the last 20 years. Writing is her passion, and she is a co-author of an equity studies textbook called Walk a Mile, A Journey Toward Equity and Justice in Canadian Society. The 3rd edition is set to be released this September. I'd like to welcome Jamie Oresar. Hi, Jamie. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
How are you feeling today?
I'm so excited.
Me too. So let's talk about how you've been hiding.
Well, I guess I'm the typical type A overachiever, like always moving from one project to the next, working multiple jobs, wearing all the hats. And my driving force has always been just do the next right thing. And I feel like in doing the next right thing all the time, I've been kind of hiding behind productivity and achievement. And a lot of those shoulds, I call it shoulding all over yourself, like should ing. And in the regard of, I've done, as you said, I've done some wild and adventurous things, but they were always contained in whatever the next right step should be. So I could move across the world to Australia, but only because it was for grad school. I could move to China or Mexico, but only because it was for work. And I think as a woman, a lot of my shoulds were really rooted in external expectations from family or friends or society overall. And that left me feeling lost. Again, hiding behind productivity and achievement. And on the outside, it looked like I was living my best life, but on the inside, I felt disconnected and unfulfilled, almost like I was on autopilot and just going through the motions.
Yeah, I think that's so relatable because so many people are living based on the expectations of what they think other people think they should do.
Right. And it's heavy, right? Like it's the weight of all of those expectations. And sometimes it's internally imposed by yourself because you've internalized all of those expectations as the only way forward for you.
Right, and the autopilot comment is spot on, right? Because we move through life, we're on this path, and we finally have a moment, hopefully most of us do, where we realize like, you know what, this isn't for me, I'm living for somebody else. So tell us about that moment when you came to that realization.
Yeah, that moment was last year. I came across a bunch of old journals, 15 of them to be exact, and they spanned all of my 20s and into my early 30s. And in reading them, I started to see all the places that I was hiding and recognized that no matter what I did, it never felt like I was doing enough. It never felt like I was helping enough or having enough of an impact, or really, ultimately, I didn't feel like I was enough. And in that regard, I saw myself for the first time. And once I was able to sort of peel back all of the layers of those shoulds, I was able to be more present in the moment. I was able to be more connected to the people that are in my life, and I was able to show up as my whole self, which then made everything in my life so much more meaningful.
So, and what did that look like for you? So you look at these journals, you have this aha moment. So what was your next move in terms of deciding to start living differently?
Well, it's no surprise that I am a sociologist, and I've been working with students we talk about equity and we talk about them finding their voices and unpacking all of their own shoulds. And I really was I had the skills from the work that I do to recognize the social conditioning that takes place for most of us in society, and I was able to see it clearly and then peel back those layers and realize, and there were a lot of cringe moments, there were a lot of laughs along the way, but it was always, there was always me underneath it all, underneath all the doing, and that part of me was nudging me along the way. And I think that's why I ended up where I did across 4 continents doing all the things that I did, because I was once in a while listening to those nudges, but then hyper-focused on the should.
So I want to talk about those nudges, and I want to talk about the more recent nudges, because you had this realization about a year ago, and since then things have shifted for you, and you're now going to be an author of 2 books. So you're going to author your own book based on the concept of giving yourself permission to just be.
Yes.
And then you're going to join us in the collaboration book, Hiding in Plain Sight, all of which wouldn't have happened had you not made that realization and decided to shift.
Right. So yeah, I'm still doing all of the things, but it's like all of this doing now aligns with my being. And it's almost as if as soon as I started to show up as my whole self, the people that came into my life, the opportunities that presented themselves, it's like they had been waiting for me to kind of wake up and come alive and be able to see exactly what I feel like I was meant to do forever, which is write and share that. And I think, that's all we really want in life, is to be seen by ourselves, by the people we love, by our communities. And we're taught that we're supposed to wear this like armor of protection, and that's how we're meant to be recognized. But I think contributing to Hiding in Plain Sight, your beautiful book that's coming out, is, and then me writing my own book in Permission to Just Be, it's really me taking off that armor of protection and allowing myself, my whole self, to be seen for the first time.
I think that's beautiful. And I want to just let everybody know how they can find you, because Permission to Just Be is so relatable. So do you want to just tell us about your website really quickly and your social media so people can get in touch?
Yeah, for sure. It is beautiful, but it's also very terrifying too, right? But I'm gonna try to, in the whole, grant yourself permission to just be, I'm gonna try to document this journey, this writing journey, both with Hiding in Plain Sight and my book on Instagram. So the handle is @permissiontojustbe. And then coming soon will be permissiontojustbe.com, where I'm designing workshops for anyone else who finds themselves shoulding all over themselves and in need of granting themselves permission to just be as well.
Thank you for joining me, Jamie.
Lindsey, thank you for having me, and thank you for doing such an important segment and shining your own light so that other people can shine it alongside of you. So it's so powerful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.